and the police decided to use Mr. Speaker, in the long run, what the police said was they had no more tear gas and they had to resort to live bullets. Mr. Speaker, what happened to rubber bullets? Why must you go to a demonstration with live bullets if not with the intention to kill? Mr. Speaker, Article 37 clearly allows every citizen of this country an opportunity to picket and demonstrate if they so wish. Mr. Speaker, the only people who are armed in these demonstrations are the police. Mr. Speaker,
Order, honorable members. Honorable Rosa Buyu, let her take her message across. You will have your moment. Don't interject.
Mr. Speaker, the motion before us today is worried about nothing else but money. But the demonstrations were not just worried about money. The demonstrations are about people. People who sleep hungry days on end. People who are lied to during campaigns that they would have pockets full of money and they would have tables full of food as soon as the new regime came into power. Only to discover that they sleep hungry every day. Those are the people who are out on the streets. Mr. Speaker, the demonstrations that you saw yesterday were about Kenyans. Kenyans asking for equitable distribution of opportunities within government amongst 42 tribes of this country, so that not only 2 tribes get involved or get employed within those opportunities.
What's your point of order, Honorable Ichungwa?
Honorable Speaker, I empathize with the Honorable Rosa Buyu. But Honorable Speaker, we cannot use the floor of this House to whip up emotions. And it is a fact that a student of Maseno University was shot dead, and it is also a fact, as has been reported, that young man was shot during the Monday demonstrations.
Order.
It has been stated, Honorable Speaker, because it is one thing
to
say that...
What is out of order?
What is out of order, Mr. Speaker, is when a member rises in his place and purports to be speaking...
Order, Honorable Ichungwa, order. Proceed, Honorable Rosa Buyu, finish.
Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Thank you for protecting me.
You will have your moments.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for protecting me from Honorable Ichungwa, because even when I'm not in this house, he says he is so embarrassed, he's so astonished. Where is Rosa Buyu? Mr. Speaker, I'd like to inform him I am here. This is Rosa Buyu. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, he's already taken my time and you must give me 1 minute. I plead with you.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
you will have no minute, but proceed.
These elections, these demonstrations...
Order. Rosa, you've run out of your time. The Honorable Naomi Wako, followed by the MP for Teso South. Order.
The mic.
The MP for Teso South. Order. Order, Honorable Millie, you will have your moment. Order, please. Order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for allowing me to add my voice to this very important motion of adjournment, which we all need to contribute because it has affected the lives of Kenyans. It has affected our businesses. It has affected our economy in a very serious way. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have always witnessed demonstration by the opposition. But this time round, I wonder why they are doing it now, because we are only 6 months old, and it is quite clear that they lost the election and lost completely. They would have just waited for another 5 years for them to vie and win the election if that is what they want. But this time, our government and our president is working so hard to recover and to revive the economy that was destroyed in their hands. Today, when they call people to demonstrate in your regime, under the handshake regime, which you participated fully, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. You destroyed our economy. You destroyed everything that Kenya had during that time.
The MP for Migori, woman rep, order, please. Order. Proceed.
You participated in the Uhuru regime.
Proceed.
So, Mr. Speaker, sir, the demonstration organized was just to destroy our economy, was just to frustrate our government, and I'm here to tell them that our government is strong enough and we will never bow down. And if you think that the practice that has always given you, the handshake, whatever, the nusu mukate, this time round you will not get it. This time round you will not get it. Because we understand, we know very well, during the daytime, they go on the streets, they encourage people to demonstrate, and during the night, they come to us to negotiate. We will never give in. Mr. Speaker, protect me, Mr. Speaker. Protect me, because they may have carried the stones in here. And so, Mr. Speaker, our economy was fully destroyed by these people. And today, they want to bring the same nonsense to the parliament. Because we are trying to talk about that. We are trying to correct the mistake they have made. We are trying to tell people the mistake and the destruction they have caused. And they are shouting, they are pointing fingers, they are standing up as if they are on the street.
What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I want to know whether...
Order.
I want to know whether...
As brief...
Order.
Constituency. I almost lost my flight because of the strikes at Maseno University. And I think as a mother, my sympathy and condolences go to the family that lost their son as a result of the demonstrations. So this is not a matter that we should take lightly. If there were no demonstrations, that boy would not have died. So we must also learn to take responsibility. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we are a policy makers, and we have a role to play to contribute towards bringing down that cost of living. So whereas we're talking about high cost of living, and we agree, it has taken a toll, particularly on the low-income households, and especially the hustlers in this country. But is Mandamano going to be the solution? Is picketing going to solve the issue of the high cost of living? There are other options, alternatives, motions, bills, and the budget that we have just approved in the policy statement, that we can channel resources towards programs that are going to improve on the economy and thereby bring down the cost of living. Honorable members, picketing can be done. It is there provided for in the Constitution, Article 37. But can it be done peacefully without interrupting and disrupting the same economy we are claiming that the high cost of living? On Monday, what happened sadly? This country registered low productivity. On that Monday, there are people in those demonstrations who depend on their daily endeavors, depend on their casual work because they live from hand to mouth. They went home and slept hungry because they were engaged in the demonstrations. On that Monday, businesses were disrupted in this country. And on that Monday, the people who depend on services, deliveries, delayed services across the country. So this is not a joking matter. There are many other ways we can address this issue. These issues do not only affect the proponents of the Mandamano. The issues affecting this country affect all of us. And this is our country, we live in it. So if we destroy Kenya today, then are we going to run to another country? Is there another country that we have beside this country? So let us debate this issue soberly. I agree with you, but there are even people who have suffered, besides even dying, there are people who suffered injuries.
William Mayange, who was killed in Maseno. Mr. Speaker, even as we speak in this house, there is a family that is grieving, and you can never recover a lost child. So I just want to say pole to the family of William for the loss, unnecessary loss of a youthful life. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya says all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with the Constitution. And Article 1(2) says the people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through elected representative. And Mr. Speaker, one of the members who was speaking, my dear friend who I interrupted as she was speaking, was saying that we speak here and we should not speak outside and we should not let our representatives speak. I want to educate her that Article 1(2) of the Constitution gives that right, that we can exercise our mandate directly. And when we demonstrate, we are exercising it directly. So we cannot be having tyranny in the house. We can also have tyranny outside the house. Mr. Speaker, I also just want to say that Article 37, and I want to agree with members across the divide, and I want to thank Honorable Muya for speaking very soberly and saying that Article 37 allows for picketing and peaceful picketing. And I want to say both our side and their side are saying the same language. Let us have picketing, which is allowed under Article 37, with no condition, because the Constitution does not give condition, except peaceable picketing. And Mr. Speaker, in peaceable picketing, the mandate lies with the police. The citizen of Kenya does not have arms. Mr. Speaker, those who maintain peace and order are the police. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say that those who are killed, as we have heard from the boy who was killed in Maseno, was killed by the police. And I also want to add that when the business community restrained from doing their business, they restrained from doing their business because of fear-mongering by people like my good friend, who I don't want to mention lest he can stay a point of order. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that those who close their businesses close because of fear-mongering. And we know my friend who does fear-mongering. Mr. Speaker, because I know other members want to speak, I want to say this. I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving this House direction, that it is actually wrong for us to be mentioning other people who are not here and calling them names, like regrettably my good friend Honorable Ichungwa called Honorable Raila an urban terrorist. Mr. Speaker, if it weren't for your order, I could also have called Honorable Ruto national terrorist. But because of your order, I'm not calling him a national terrorist, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that my good friend Honorable Ichungwa must tell us whether he's also of the LGBTQ community because of his preoccupation with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That guy is a man, buana. Don't be too preoccupied with Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
Order.
I'm a woman, buana. Hey, nikitu gani wewe?
Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Order. You cannot discuss the conduct of Honorable Ichungwa without a substantive motion. So you're out of order on that. Order. Come. Honorable Ichungwa, if we desist, order. If we desist, order. Honorable Oembaya, when the chair is on his feet. Order. I mean, we